News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Well, residents are evacuated from a senior living facility and new details emerge about a weekend homicide. News 25 starts now.
This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
It's all hands on deck to help seniors in a residential facility. It's Tuesday, April 7th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Well, Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and deputies with the Nye County Sheriff's Office rushed over to Inspiration Senior Living on Honeysuckle Street last night for a report of a fire inside the laundry room connected to the multi-level care senior home.
Initially, we were dispatched a report of an alarm activation, including a general alarm and a water flow alarm. As crews were responding, we were notified that they received a call from the facility indicating that there was a fire in the laundry room and that the occupants were evacuating the building. Crews arrived to find nothing showing from the exterior. However, during the scene size up in the risk assessment, we determined that there was a smoke condition within the building originating in the area of the laundry room with a positive activation of the sprinkler head in that room. Crews quickly controlled the flow of the occupants who were egressing out of the building, placed them to a safe area. With the life safety aspects aside, our interior suppression crews could go in and finish the extinguishing of the fire. The fire originated in the laundry room, specifically in the dryer. The contents of the dryer had caught fire. When the door was open, it extended up a nearby placed appliance, activated the sprinkler head, and that quelled the fire to the point where the firefighters then came in and simply made sure that suppression was complete and also gave them the opportunity to make sure there was no extension. In this case, the fire was easily for us to control, but then it was secondary issues, securing the sprinkler system, making sure that the water damage was minimized, and also to make sure the resulting steam and smoke produced by the fire did not get into the populated areas of the facility. There were no injuries, and people were able to go back and restore back in their original suites and rooms.
Well, the Nye County Sheriff's Office has released new details in the weekend murder of a man on Linda Street.
On April 4th, dispatchers received a 911 call from a man asking for help, but before he was finished, the call was disconnected. The Sheriff's Office traced that call to a home at 835 South Linda Street. When deputies arrived, a witness told them they had heard the two occupants of the trailer home fighting and yelling earlier. The Sheriff's Office says when deputies knocked on the door, one of the occupants, later identified as 57-year-old Marco Torres, told them to leave. Officers eventually forced their way into the residence, where they discovered a second man deceased in a bedroom. That man had visible injuries to the head and face. The Sheriff's Office says Torres told detectives that he and his roommate had argued about a bag of marijuana that his roommate spilled on the floor. Torres says the argument turned physical and that his roommate ran into a bedroom to call for help. Torres told officers he was agitated his roommate was calling for help and smashed his phone to the ground. The Sheriff's Office says Torres told detectives he then choked his roommate until he stopped breathing. Torres was arrested and booked into the Nye County Detention Center on 3 charges: second-degree murder, resisting arrest, and intercepting a telephone message.
Well, you might have noticed this morning KPVM-TV and Ace Country Radio lost power earlier today for a short time. According to Valley Electric Association, the reason for the failure was the result of construction equipment from a private company coming into contact with an electrical line. VEA crews bypassed the power, which was restored to our TV and radio station, and have been working on the repair for most of the afternoon. 18 members were affected by the incident. We'll be back with more news right after this break.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back. The White House is proposing new options for covering the skyrocketing cost of the coronavirus outbreak. Wayfair is seeing a surge in revenue, and Apple says it's sending 1 million face masks to healthcare workers in the United States. Angela Miles has the details.
Tapping our news, a new round of financial responses to the vicious coronavirus outbreak. White House officials are now considering war bonds to fund the massive spending to cover the virus outbreak in Japan. The details of a $1 trillion economic stimulus package will be revealed today. Businesses brisk for Wayfair. The online furniture company's revenue grew by 20% in March as customers purchased items to fix up their homes and home offices. That stock rallied Monday, but is down about 20% for the past year. Apple CEO Tim Cook reports on a Twitter video post. The tech giant has sourced more than 20 million face masks through its supply chain. More than 1 million should make it to healthcare workers by the end of this week. Ford shipped more than 1 million plastic face shields to hospitals, including 30,000 to New York, where it's very much needed.
To find out where you can see us every day, go to businessfirstam.com.
Thanks, Angela. Well, Nye County is reporting this morning one more positive test result for COVID-19. The newest result is located in Tonopah. That brings our total positive tests so far to 10. Drive-up COVID-19 testing will be available again this week throughout Nye County. Here in Pahrump, it is tomorrow, Wednesday, April 8th, from 8 a.m. until noon. That's right there on Walt Williams Drive near the duck pond. The rest of them are at the sheriff's stations or substations throughout the county. The next one in Amargosa is Thursday, April 9th, from 8 a.m. until 10. Beatty, Thursday, April 9th, from 1 to 2 p.m. Tonopah, Thursday, April 9th, from 5 to 7 p.m. Round Mountain is on Friday, April 10th, from noon until 2. Pre-registration is required. You need to give the Sheriff's Office a call at 775-751-7000. Well, the number of deaths on Nevada roads reported last month fell by nearly 50% from March of last year. State officials say 12 people were killed in crashes this past March, down from 23 fatalities reported in March of 2019. In February, the state shows 25 deaths on the roadways. So far, 61 deaths have been reported for the first 3 months of the year here in Nevada, down slightly from 63 fatalities reported over the same period in 2019. Well, everyday experts are learning more about COVID-19 and who's most at risk for serious complications. According to Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Ronan Factora, the virus has been especially dangerous for senior citizens.
This is probably due to a combination of aging changes in the immune system, where a person is not able to combat the infection quite as well as a younger person, and the accumulation of medical problems that a person may have.
A recent study shows that the older a person is, the higher their risk of death from COVID-19. Dr. Factora says the elderly need to be especially mindful of who they're in contact with. He adds that it's important to practice social distancing, staying at home whenever possible, and maintaining good hand hygiene.
Using hand sanitizer, washing your hands with soap and water, when you're in public places, just being mindful of contact with areas that a lot of people touch, and then avoiding that transfer from your hand to your face.
Dr. Factora says experts know COVID-19 transmission is rapid. He says an elderly person who gets the virus could land in the hospital quickly. That's why it's vital to continue healthy habits, including a good diet, exercise, and keeping chronic medical problems in check.
The one thing to keep in mind throughout all of this is that you should still not ignore your overall health. Now, aside from COVID-19, people who are older still have a number of health problems that still require surveillance and management, and there will be times where those will also flare up. You should still seek medical care when it's important.
For those who are able, Dr. Factora advises taking advantage of phone or virtual medical appointments to minimize exposure to public places.
Well, Nadia, a 4-year-old Malayan tiger who had a dry cough and a slight loss of appetite, tested positive for the coronavirus that caused a human pandemic. The Bronx Zoo reported the test results this past Sunday. Nadia is doing well, according to the zoo's chief veterinarian. So are the other 3 tigers and lions that show the same symptoms. And he said neither Nadia's infection nor early scientific reports from China of infections among domestic cats should make cat owners fear for their pets or fear that their cats may pass the virus to humans. We'll be back with more news right after this.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyers, Nye County's injury attorneys. Don't get bullied by insurance companies. Call Jason Ernest and bully them back at 775-727-9500.
Well, Nye County officials spoke recently about the COVID-19 financial impact to our county and how they are managing it.
The key takeaways is that management has a strategic plan to reduce expenditures within services and supply lines first. We will request help from the federal government and our state government when and where possible. We're going to realign the fiscal 20 and 21 budget to meet projected revenue deadlines. We will utilize the ending fund balance as a bridge funding to get the county from estimated revenue levels to a point in time where the revenue levels are restored to a somewhat normal level for us. If the crisis escalates past all planned measures, harder decisions will be brought forward to the board. I am very optimistic at this point in time. We will not have to escalate past management's strategic plan.
My view is a little more dire than yours is, because I'm not very optimistic, actually. I think helping to ask the state and the feds for help, I think the state's going to be in even worse shape than we are.
Yeah.
And the feds are just printing money as fast as they can make those printing presses go. So I'm not convinced we're going to get much help, if any.
I agree with a lot of what you said. In my personal experience, private business can pivot much quicker and do what's necessary than we as a government. So I think your dire situation, I think we're already there, and I think that's what we need to really be looking at. We already need to be moving in that direction. It's easier to make the cuts and tighten the belt now as a government, and then say, hey, you know what? Okay, we over tightened and we can loosen it up a little bit. Projections are better, etc. I think we need to over tighten right now. And Las Vegas, just so everybody understands where I'm coming from with this. Las Vegas is disposable income. You go to Las Vegas because you got money, you're doing very well, you want to have a good time. Vegas was the last thing to come back this last recession out of 2008. I mean, we shut everything down. That's going to take a while for those habits to come back and for people to come back. And the trickle effect coming out to Nye County, because people come out this way too, they go tourism. I mean, this is a lot bigger than I think we really give the gravity to. I mean, this is going to hurt.
And a developer wants to build a new subdivision near Rosemary Clark Middle School, and Nye County Commissioners have set a date and time for a public hearing on a bill proposing to approve a development agreement for that project.
The proposed bill would approve a development agreement between Nye County and Cedar Trees LLC for construction of the North Canyon Homes subdivision. That project would include a total of 67 homes built in 3 phases to be located off East Simpkins Road between Simpkins Park and Rosemary Clark Middle School. That project has been in the works since 2004. The Nye County Board of Commissioners set the date and time for the public hearing on the proposal for April 21st at 10 a.m.
I believe this item's been before the board previously, before myself or Commissioner Strickland being on the board, and the applicant did not even have an opportunity to testify before the board. So whatever reservations may or may not be before individual board members, I'd like to give at least this individual the opportunity to
He'll be here.
Case.
Again,
so,
we're setting the date and the time.
Absolutely, and that's why, yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye. Would you read the title of the bill into the record?
Yes, Chairman. Bill number 2020-07, a bill proposing to approve a development agreement between Nye County and Cedar Trees LLC for the North Canyon Homes subdivision and providing for other matters properly related thereto.
If you'd like to comment on the proposed development agreement for the North Canyon Homes subdivision, you can do so April 21st at 10 a.m. Due to stay-at-home orders, you must call in to have your voice heard. Details, including that phone number, can be found on the county's website, nyecounty.net. Just click on Meeting Center to see the meeting agenda, phone number, and a copy of the proposed agreement.
Well, Nevada's stay-at-home order has more people than ever using the internet, and all of that online activity can slow down your connection. Josh Osborne of Great Computer Deals has some tips for getting fastest speeds possible.
Hi guys, Josh Osborne here with Great Computer Deals located right here in Pahrump, Nevada. Here are 5 ways to keep your internet running fast during this quarantine.
Number 5.
Use an online bandwidth test to confirm you're receiving the agreed to speed from your internet service provider. Number 4. Unplug or wirelessly disconnect unnecessary devices from your router when not using them. Number 3. If your Wi-Fi is spotty in a particular part of your home, consider plugging it into the router directly with an Ethernet cable. Number 2. Keep your router placed in the middle of your home and away from any interfering devices such as microwaves or Bluetooth devices. Number 1. Space out your family's video streaming schedule. Every household is given a giant bowl of internet. If everyone is eating at the same time, you're all going to experience slower speeds.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
All right, let's take a look outside and see what's happening out there. Beautiful skies. Wonder if that's going to stay around. We'll find out more right after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Well, Michael was at the Board of County Commissioners today, and of course everybody needs to know that they can watch that live streaming on our local Pahrump Facebook page. Today's highs in Las Vegas, a high of 68, low of 52 tonight. Death Valley 68, 56. Amargosa's high 55, low tonight of 45. Beatty the same right up there. Goldfield 49, 38. Tonopah 49.36, just trying to beat them out right there. Carson City's high today 51, low tonight of 39. Fallon 59.36 and Fernley 54.37. Here in Pahrump, we had some showers, a high of 58, winds out of the west at 4 miles per hour. Humidity up there at 61% and sunrise 6:20 this morning. Tonight we are looking at partly cloudy skies with your low of 45, winds out of the east at 6 miles per hour, humidity 76%, and sunset right on the nose at 7 p.m. Tomorrow we're showing an 80% chance of rain with the winds out of the southeast at 19 miles per hour. Your high is 63, low of 40. Thursday and Friday clearing up with just a slight chance of rain there, but some clouds in the sky. Thursday's high of 54 and a low of 40. Friday 65, 45, and the weekend's looking really good. A little bit of wind there on Sunday with 12 miles per hour out of the northwest with some clouds in the sky. Saturday's high of 72, low of 50. Sunday 71, 49. And Monday clearing up with some winds still staying up there out of the northwest at 11 miles per hour, high of 67, a low of 45. Tuesday, high of 70 and a low of 49. Well, believe it or not, spring is here, and it's a great time to start on some household projects you need to tackle. The question is, can you really do it yourself, or do you need some professional help? In today's Angie's List report, Angie Hicks highlights a few common jobs almost anyone can take on their own.
When deciding whether you should do a project yourself, you really need to think about 3 things. Do you have the time? Do you have the resources? And do you have the proper tools to do the project right?
A clogged dryer vent is a fire hazard, and cleaning it should be an annual activity. For short vents, disconnect the exhaust duct tube from the dryer and use your vacuum's long attachment or a hose brush to clean out the debris. Then find the vent outside, and if you can reach it, clean that out too. A really long vent might require a pro. A fresh coat of paint spruces up any room, but do it right. Tape all your woodwork, then start your wall in the middle near the top. Roll it straight up and down, despite what others may say.
If you look on the YouTube videos, they'll tell you to do the W. You see that on home improvement shows too. I don't know anybody in our business that does the W.
And don't skimp on materials. Use high-quality paints and brushes.
It's very typical for most paints to have the built-in primer now. It will help to adhere better to the surface, and it also helps to cover in 2 coats and give you the true color.
If you've discovered a small mold problem in your house, take care of that quickly.
If you have a small mold issue, meaning less than 10 square feet, you could probably tackle that yourself with water and a detergent solution. But the key to tackling that project is making sure that you find the source of the moisture, otherwise it's going to come right back.
Angie says to wear protective gear like gloves, goggles, and even a respirator when cleaning mold yourself. If it's a larger area and you hire a pro, follow up with an independent inspection company to verify the mold has been removed.
You know, I cleaned out that same thing on my dryer this weekend, and I can tell you, my clothes dry so much faster. I must be saving a lot of money. But the outside little air vent closed and was stuck shut, and I didn't even know it, and it was taking a long time to dry. So I recommend definitely check that out on your dryer, because I think my clothes are drying now in just one cycle. So, and definitely it's a fire hazard too as well. If you want to enter into the drawing for Pahrump for those free gift certificates that the tourism board at visitpahrump.com is giving out, and they're doing weekly drawings, you need to go either onto our local Pahrump Facebook page. You can even go to the town of Pahrump's Facebook page and tag yourself or a friend, and they are doing weekly drawings to give out these $50 gift cards to local restaurants who are delivering and taking out. So that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. From everyone up here at KPVM-TV and Ace Country Radio, have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.